Hello, 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 hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, anywhere and everywhere you're joining us from. Welcome to Coach Lola Owokoniran's YouTube channel. It's such a great day to be alive, and we are so grateful to God for another week, another day in His presence. Here on Coach Lola Owokoniran's YouTube channel, our goal is simple. We empower you to build wealth, leave a legacy, and to live purposefully. And if you're already part of this community, thank you. Thank you so much for showing up and doing the work week after week. Also, if you're watching this live or on replay, please take a quick moment to like this video, share it with someone you care about, and subscribe to the channel so you can continue to build and be part of this community. We can build our community together as well. And don't forget to turn on your notifications so you never miss these conversations, because every week we are having real conversations that can truly change lives, change families, and futures, because when we move, we win together. When we grow together. Tonight's conversation is honestly so very important to our current economic situation. We are talking about something that many people dream about, but not enough people truly understand what it entails. What it entails. Not enough people truly understand the strategy behind it as well, and that is real estate. Not just buying a beautiful home, not just having property, but understanding how wealth or real estate, particularly, can become a strategy for generational wealth. We hear that word generational wealth so often, and we often use it or talk about it, on the kitchen table. But do we actually know the strategies that are involved and how to build on it? And I really want us to lean into today's conversation tonight, because we are living in a time where many families are working harder than ever, but
Mhm.
still wondering, how do we actually build something that lasts? According to recent housing data, nearly 66% of Americans own homes today, but many families still do not fully understand how to leverage home ownership as part of a long term wealth strategy. And studies continue to show that homeowners also generally build significantly more net worth over time than renters, because of equity growth, appreciation, and ownership transfer across generations. And that matters, because wealth is not only about income. It's not only about income. Wealth is about ownership. It
Yeah.
is about stewardship. It's about also protecting it the right way, which is very important. After you build, you also have to put things in place to protect it for yourself and for future generations. Wealth is also about what continues after you're gone, generational wealth. And since we just came out of Mother's Day weekend, I believe this conversation is even more meaningful, because many mothers, fathers, and families, as we gathered around today, this past weekend, some part of us were deeply thinking about legacy, or we're still thinking about it and building on it and hoping to start something. What are we building? What are we leaving behind? What will our children benefit from? That is why tonight's conversation matters very much. And I'm so excited that I'm not doing this by myself. I'm not doing this alone. I have my friends, my sisters tonight. I'm joined by two amazing women who each bring their own individualism, their own personality, their own wisdom, their own experience, faith, family values, real world experiences into real estate and generational wealth. They don't just practice what they preach, they live by what they preach. They practice it. So first we have Miss Carlene Walker. We have Miss Carlene Walker with us today. She is Miss Carlene brings over 22 years of experience in real estate, and has worked in multiple areas of the industry, including property management, investing, brokerage, and loan servicing. She also has an MBA in accounting and currently works as an auditor. Carlene is passionate about entrepreneurship, ownership, and helping families understand the power of real estate. Welcome, Miss Carlene.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
And we also have Miss Irene Owoo. Irene is both a realtor and an event planner. Yes, you heard me right. A realtor and an event planner who understands the importance of preparation, timing, and vision. She's your go to when it comes to things like that. Now, as a wife, a mother, a woman of faith, and an entrepreneur, she brings a unique perspective to real estate and helping families make wise decisions. Welcome, Miss Irene.
Thank you.
Now, ladies, before we get into today's conversation, please introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about who is Miss Irene, who is Miss Carlin, about your family, your faith, and really what led you into real estate. Who'd like to go first? Miss Carlin, why don't you go first?
Okay. Well, I'm Carlene Walker, and I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I'm a grandmother. I started real estate pretty young in my 20s. My first property that I bought was when I was 27 back home in Jamaica. And after that, I started working in the industry as a loan servicing officer. And at that point in time, my eyes were open to real estate, and I meeting so many people who didn't understand the value of a home and the importance of what they have until they lost it.
Hmm.
So that's where my love for real estate started.
Thank you for sharing. Miss Irene.
Hi, thanks for having me. So, I I have been in real estate one capacity or another. I was with First Horizon Home Loans. That's when I really got introduced to real estate. But I've always loved homes and you know um, transforming spaces. So my ideal thing to do, even on a date, would be to go and look at houses. I would always drive around what we considered like a rich neighborhood, just to see houses and look at houses. I've always been, for as long as I can remember, probably since about 2001, 2002, I was interested in real estate. And then I worked for First Horizon Home Loans as a loan processor, and that's when I got really into it. I eventually got my license in 2019, but prior to that, I was doing real estate in Ghana, helping people here who were interested in things outside of here. So that's how long I've been interested in real estate and been in the business. Now I'm also a wife and a mom of two beautiful girls.
Oh, oh, look at that. You see, I have two experts in the house, two brokers. That's such a big deal. And honestly, one thing I hear from your stories of your experiences are along the way you took the necessary steps to prepare and you challenged yourself along the way in building your career as women. Most people think wealth starts when you buy the house, but many things happen along the way of you building wealth. Many times, wealth actually starts in the preparation. You putting things in order, your money together, your finances together, your life together.
Yeah.
Making before you make that purchase, and that takes us into the first part of tonight's. Well, you know what? Before I go to tonight's conversation, I do have a question. Before we go into that, so, Miss Colleen, before we go into today's conversation,
Yeah.
I think this would help a lot of people watching tonight. It helped me personally because while we were preparing for today's conversation, the terms real estate agent and real estate broker. As the everyday people, we use that very interchangeable.
Interchangeable.
I mean, until you literally corrected me and said, "This is my title." Yeah. Can you briefly explain the difference? Because you both literally sent me the same message at the same time. I love to clarify that to educate our viewers out there what the difference is. Yeah.
Okay, so an agent is basically the person who is on the ground, the person who you meet every day, the person who does the open houses. But the broker is the leader,
Mm,
is the one that will take the blunt of if you, the agent, make a mistake, they're the ones who take the blunt. They're the ones who are get the fine from the association. We
mm,
are in charge of educating the real estate agents,
got
keep
it.
them up to date with the changes and stuff like that.
Okay. So you're like the principal.
Yes.
So you take the risk, your name is on the line,
Yes.
you get the insurance protection. It's a business for you. You
Yeah,
own
it's a
the
bit.
business. Okay. Okay. That's beautiful. That's good to know. All right. So I'm gonna transition this into tonight's the framework of build, grow, thrive. And thank you for clarifying that because sometimes people enter the home buying process without understanding who does what. And
Yeah.
education is part of building wisely. We have to be informed so that as we're reaching out to our agents or brokers, we know their roles along the line. We know where they fall under. Um, when we talk about build, because before you grow well, before you thrive, you first
Mm-hmm.
have to build. Build is
Yes.
always the first level. You build your discipline, you build your knowledge, you build financial habits, money habits, you build your vision as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm gonna go back to you, Miss Colin. For someone for someone who wants to buy a home but feels overwhelmed, what are the first things they should have in place before they start looking?
The first thing that came to mind, that word overwhelmed. And what came to my thoughts is if you're overwhelmed, that means something isn't right.
Mm,
That means you need to go back to the basic, go back to the drawing board. What it is that's causing you to feel overwhelmed?
got it.
Is it that you're not ready? Is it that you're pushing yourself to do something that you're not comfortable with?
Mm,
So your first thing, you have to be comfortable to take that step. So you have to make that, if it's their credit that's the issue, you have to get that sorted out. If is it that you are there's something happening inside of you that what you desire you cannot afford versus because that's where that overwhelm, that there's a thing going on and there's a fight, a pull going on inside of you because you need to make the right decision. Is it that I'm not ready?
mm,
That's the first thing. So you have to get your credit right, which everybody knows that. You have to have your payments, your savings together, and you have to make a decision. You have to have a goal. Why do I need this house?
mm,
Is it to live in or is it for investment? What's
mm.
your long-term goal? So that's my
Thank you. Thank
you're
you so
welcome.
So I'm hearing credit, I'm hearing savings, I'm hearing mindsets. We're heavy on
Mhm.
that for the overwhelming part. Stable income
Yeah.
and realistic expectations.
Hmm.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Um, awesome. It's true because many people delay the process simply because they feel overwhelmed,
Yeah.
which is part of one of the reasons why we're having this platform or having this conversation today. Miss Irene, now, as both an event planner and a realtor, you understand the importance of preparation, of timing as well. How important is planning before making a major real estate decision?
Well, thank you for that. I think when you say planning, most people think it's for an event.
Mm.
But planning is just an essential part of life, right? Planning
Mm.
is not just for specific events or milestones that happen, but it should be a way of life. And unfortunately, we don't all see that all the time. Um, it's a discipline. It's something that includes research, learning, saving, a host of other important decisions. That will help us in the things that we need to do moving forward. As far as real estate, I say most people's biggest expense we have is real estate, right? The most expensive thing most of us buy is real estate. And so, how do we prepare ourselves for those things? And like Miss Colleen said earlier, which I also think about all the time with my clients, is what is the reason why we're buying? Are we buying to live in? Are we buying for investment purposes? Is it a vacation home? And how do we make that huge financial commitment?
Yeah.
And so it should be done with a lot of planning. Ask questions why, what we need this for. Prepare yourself. What's important in a community? If you have young children, are you looking at the school district? What is the resale value for the thing that I'm buying so that if I have equity in it and I want to sell, how well am I going to make? How much money am I going to make on this? Some neighborhoods appreciate a lot faster and a lot more than other neighborhoods. So there's a lot of research and learning that should go into it. But I think a lot of times we get excited. It's a big decision, it's a big purchase, and we get excited and we make emotional decisions instead of financially sound decisions. So I will say planning is key.
Mm.
Think about all these things. And if you're not able to come up with ways to find out all these information, really you can find out online, right?
Mm.
Find out from the city or the county where you want to purchase. What is the projection for that city for the next 5 to 10 years or beyond? Most of these things, again, you can find out by going to council meetings. You can find out by looking online, but you have to figure these things out before you make a purchase because it's going to help you in the long run. And if it's something that you're not savvy about, you can always hire a broker to help you in the process so that you make financially sound decisions when it comes to the biggest purchase, for most of us. So that's what I'll say. Planning is definitely key and should be a discipline for sure.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I love that. I love that because planning matters financially too. Sometimes people see a house and we're, emotional about it before they plan, before they prepare, before they even figure out if they're ready to take on that responsibility that comes with it. And I think that it's something people need to hear more often. Home buying is one thing, but maintaining the home is another thing. And I think it's important because many people start house hunting before they are truly prepared mentally. Yes. Now, Miss Irene, I'm going to ask you this. In your experience, you're laughing, so I'm coming back for you. what, what are some signs that someone, and I really want you to keep it raw with us, no filters. What are some signs that someone is actually ready to buy a home?
I would say someone who's done their research.
Mm.
That's key.
Yeah.
Someone who's planned for it. So if you're ready to buy a home, more than likely you've looked at where you want to buy, you know why you're buying, but very importantly, you've also looked at the cost to buy. A
Yes.
lot of times people would say, "Oh, my rent is 1,200. So if the mortgage is 1,200, I'm fine." But there's property taxes. There's
Mm.
lawn care maintenance when you live in an apartment or a townhome. You don't cover the lawn for the most part. Um, that other expenses, maintenance, when things break down, the apartment complex will fix it. When your refrigerator breaks down, you either pay to get it fixed or you buy another one. You don't have those options. So it's really key to understand where you're going are you ready for it? I'll ask, most people, what is your goal? How much do you have saved? Do you have the down payment? If you don't have a down payment, at the very least, you're not ready. And sometimes people will say, "Oh, I'm not ready now. I'll think about it when I'm ready." No, you plan when you're not ready to prepare for when you become ready. So
Mhm.
you should definitely be planning and looking at the cost of, what is it going to cost for a down payment? What is it going to cost for closing costs? Because you have your down payment and you still have to pay closing costs. And so you put all those together. If you don't have those funds, unfortunately, even with a 700, 800 credit score, if you don't have that down payment ready and that closing cost, you're not ready to buy. So definitely, it's key to plan, and then for sure.
Thank you so much. Don't you think social media sometimes creates pressure for people to buy before they are truly ready? I'm gonna pose that question to you both. Either one wants to answer. Social media.
Um, I think I'm thinking back in my days. I think the generation now is different.
Hmm.
And if you talk to like builders, they will tell you that they're not interested in buying. They're interested in renting.
Hmm.
So so that's why if you notice there's a lot of apartments going up
Yeah.
because of that. So I wouldn't say social media. It it just depending on which generation you're speaking about. But um it can be bad influence, but as what Miss Irene says, the reality is you have to do your homework.
Hmm.
You have to have your basic things that you need to. And maybe somebody listening to us saying, but I can get down payment by assistance, down payment assistance because it's out there. But I know that many people don't know or realize that when you take those assistance, your interest rate is higher
Mm-hmm.
than if you have your down payment.
Hmm.
So there's so much to learn, so many things. Even if a builder say, "I'll give you 10,000 towards closing costs," there's something to that that a lot of us don't realize. Is it truly that $10,000 going towards your closing costs? Is it? We need to look into things and don't take things as they say. So
Hmm.
it's a lot to it, and we have to stay in reality check, wake up, smell the roses,
Hmm.
and as what you said before, buying it's not just buying, it's maintaining. Can I manage until I pay off this thing?
Mm-hmm.
And that is so important.
Thank you very much. Miss Irene, you have any input on that topic for social media?
I would say social media definitely has some impact on how young people um, view real estate.
Hmm.
They talk about these real estate investment trust, and there's so many things out there that may make it look very easy and to get into. But in actuality, there is, like Ms. Colleen said earlier, there's maintenance that we've got to think about, right? So there are decisions that we need to think through before we make these decisions. And I think sometimes when you look at social media, it looks all flowery and it's all fun and exciting. Um, they just show you the end picture, right? Or they show you a picture of someone moving into a home and with a new key, and they're showing off all of that, but they don't show you the process that it takes to get there. And I think that's where social media sometimes can affect people's judgment when it comes to real estate and for most things in life, really.
Thank you so much. That is so true. That is so true. That is why financial literacy matters very much. And conversations like this, we should be having them on a regular basis, because many people think if I can qualify for the payment, oh yes, I can afford the house.
Mm-mm.
Well, not necessarily, like we're hearing. You still need emergency savings. You need budgeting to be disciplined with your finances. Maintenance. Oof. Yes, maintenance. If you're a homeowner, or you're into, property management, you know it. Because these things don't announce themselves. It just happens, you
Mm.
know. Even in a brand new property, it just happens.
Yeah.
Um, Insurance protection, estate planning, long-term thinking. We have Everything has to be, you have to assess everything. You have to consider these things, because home ownership without a strategy, it can become stress. You will not enjoy your experience. You will not even love the house. The house could could be depleted or diminished in value because you're not maintaining it. But ownership with wisdom, with strategy, it becomes legacy for you, and you enjoy the property in the long term. Now, I want to move into the grow section of this conversation, because after we're building comes growth. Build, grow. Now, and growth, this is where many families begin to shift from survival to ownership. From survival to ownership. So it's very, very important that we shaping our mindset around that. Ms. Carlene, many people see real estate as simple buying a place, a roof over our heads. Let's just get a simple 3 bedroom, 4 bedroom, something we can manage. But how can home ownership become a wealth building strategy? Teach us, please. And not just a place to lay our heads on every night.
Well, based on experience and based on what my parents has taught me, it's somewhere that can you can pass from one generation to the next. Um, a home appreciates; it doesn't depreciate. And also, what you can do, you can leverage your home to buy another home, to invest in something else,
Mm,
and you can just continue building. That's why when you hear people talk about wealth building, they talk about stocks, they talk about real estate, equity,
mm,
equity funding, securities. They talk about these things because real estate is it. I believe, this is my belief, that real estate is the number one product that is edge against inflation.
mm.
And because if you look at it, I'm going to give an example. Say you purchase a home 10 years ago
Okay.
and the market is what it is like today. You have equity in that home. You have equity in that home. Worse if you have rented it out. You decided to put some tenants in it long term and you have good tenants.
Hmm.
I mean, you're earning on the back end, which is your equity, and you have rented it out. There's income because you wouldn't just rent that home out for just to pay the mortgage. You have to have something extra from that, and that's how I look at real estate. It's my go-to, my food, my bread and butter. That's what I tell myself. And I teach in the next generation, invest early, start early. Even just buying a piece of land and putting it down, don't do anything. If you don't have the funds, you can buy a piece of land here in Georgia. You can get land for $55,000.
Hmm.
And I mean, maybe 2 years from now, somebody wants to buy that land from you and willing to pay a good money for it.
Hmm.
So real estate is not just a house, it's not just a home, but land as well.
Thank you. Great strategies dropped there. Miss Irene, you have any input there? you'd like to add?
Um, I say Miss Colleen said it. I think a lot of times we think of real estate as just a house, but real estate goes beyond that. We need to look at investments. We look at land, like she said. Commercial is another place that sometimes we don't pay attention to, but that's another area that is, you know, lucrative for real estate. So I would
And
say
also,
definitely
and
investment
also,
purposes.
I'm sorry,
No,
and
you're
also
good.
multiple family homes, duplexes, triplex, quadruplex.
Yeah.
I mean, that is considered residential. Once you go over that four, you go
Mhm.
into five, you're talking about commercial.
Mhm.
So, and for someone who is having a challenge because the price of a single family now is so expensive and you're having a challenge, my advice is look at a duplex.
Yeah.
It can cost you the same money that you pay for a single family, but you will have the option of renting out part of it and you live in apart for 2 years and then you can move and rent the next one and buy something else
That's true.
because they will consider it as your residential, your primary home. So you
Mhm.
will get that 3% down if that's what you have,
Mhm.
but at the same time, you're bringing in income.
Yep. That's
Yeah.
an excellent strategy. Yep, that's an excellent strategy. Thanks for sharing that. Um, To our viewers out there, if you have any questions, please don't let this conversation be one sided. We'd love to hear from you. Any comments, any questions, please drop it in the comment section. This is a very powerful conversation, and please take notes. Take notes. Miss Irene and Miss Collins' information are being displayed on the screen as well as in the description section of this video. If you're watching us live, take down their information. If you go back and watch the replay, you can also take back the information, take it down, or you check out the description section to reach out to them. And every gem they've been dropping, let's make sure that we are building on it. We are taking actions. We are booking your appointment so that they can help you build your own wealth, your own real estate portfolio along the way. Thank you, ladies, for sharing those gems. Miss Irene,
Yeah.
when buyers are excited about their dream home, how can they balance vision with wisdom so that they make a smart financial decision?
I
Oh,
tell people don't spend $5 if you make $3. But and on a more serious note, and look, that can be a challenge sometimes,
please repeat
right?
that again. Repeat that again. They need to take it down. They need to take it down. Repeat, repeat.
Don't spend $5 if you make three. But seriously, on a more serious note, again, planning. I can't stress on that enough. Planning is key. Um, when you get to the place where you want to buy or build, it's an exciting decision, but you have got to pause and think it through. Again, I said it before, we make a lot of emotional decisions and not financially sound decisions. So stop and think about it when you get to that place where you want to buy or build, and think about what you're doing. Are you buying for cash or are you buying with financing? Sometimes you can afford to buy with cash, but it may be more financially savvy to buy with financing instead. So that's something you want to talk to, Coach Lola about when you have that extra money. But I tell people there's so many things that go into buying, right? What the terms will look like is not just about the down payment and the closing costs, but also what are we looking at as far as interest rate goes. um, what do the monthly payments look like in the community that we're moving into? What does the HOA look like? um, what does insurance for your home look like, right? So we look at the cost of the home, not realizing all the extra things that come with it. Um, so those are things that I would say it requires wisdom, right? Think it through. Um, The common mistake that I say people make is they get in there and then they realize their utility bills are a lot higher than they had when they were in an apartment, because of course the square footage is much bigger. So did you think about all these little extra things? Also, how much cushion do you have? You may not have, like, emergencies happen, right? Do you have a little bit of cushion? You have to think about all those things. And you may not have all of those things. And I'm not saying you should have all of those things before you buy, but at least you go in not making a blind decision, right?
Mm.
It helps you make sound decision. It helps you sleep better at night because you're not stressing so much because you've thought about it. And hopefully, when you get in there, even if you haven't planned all the way, because you know what is expected or what could happen, you are more mindful of your living expenses. And that, I think, helps a lot. So those are things that we should definitely um, think about. Sometimes it just means that you need to wait a little bit. And that's not a bad thing,
Okay.
because it's better to go in prepared than to go in, unprepared, and then get yourself into a financially uncomfortable situation. A good broker would help you through this process, ask you these questions, and they won't encourage you to buy knowing that you can't afford it just for commission, right? Because at the end of the day, it's relationship building, and you don't want your clients to get in there and have buyer's remorse. You want them to get in there and tell everybody how great you are and bring people to you. So it's key that you're be mindful of who is helping you through the process, but not just that, you yourself doing the homework that it takes to make sure you get to that place.
Hmm.
That's what I'd say.
Excellent. Powerful. I'm glad you said all that, because I was even going to ask you what are the key things for us to look out for when we are selecting a broker or an agent. But you covered everything. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Guys, make sure you take notes. And if you miss anything in today's conversation, you can always go back and watch. If you have any questions, please ask us live. This is your one chance. Afterwards, you can definitely reach out to them and call them and ask your questions. But make use of this platform so that anyone that can go that is also listening can also learn from your questions. So let's ask so that we can also empower one another on this journey. We are trusting and believing God for everyone to be a homeowner this year. If you're not yet, be one. And if you were, build on that portfolio to increase more, acquire more assets. Now let's move into Thrive. Now, this is honestly my favorite part because thriving is bigger than money. We've talked about build, we've talked about grow, we covered planning, preparation. Now, thriving means peace, it means stability, it means security, it means legacy, it means impact. And that's where generational wealth really becomes meaningful. Meaningful. And it's such a beautiful thing to see it grow and blossom, and for you to look back and be thankful for that. So Miss Colleen, from your experience as a realtor, what are some practical ways families can use real estate to create generational wealth, to create it this time?
Okay, to create. One of the things that over the years I've observed with like the Chinese and to some extent the Hispanics, Mexican, they live together. They
Yes,
do things together.
that's true.
And that's one of the ways that we can do, you do things together. You buy land together. You build homes on land together and you live there. And then from there, you can extend, you can build. That's how you're going to build generational wealth, doing things together, not being afraid to share what you have, the ideas you have, and build with each other. So that's my main thing. Pool your money together.
Mm.
You just ensure that you have good contracts in place, and you sit together and make that plan, as what Miss Irene says. You're planning. What came to my thoughts with that is the write the vision and make it plain.
Mm.
Mm.
And remember that the vision is for an appointed time. So sometimes when you're trying something and it's not working, maybe the time is not now, but it's for an appointed time. And when the time comes, it will happen. So you have to prepare yourself. And in preparing, you have to think. You have to write things down. Ideas may come to you. You write it down. You look at places, look at lands, look, find out what is going on in the industry. Because even right now, I know a lot of people, the market is not that great. There's a lot of homes on the market. So this to me is a buyer's market. You have room to negotiate. You have so many houses now foreclosing. So now is the time for you to make that move or get some more information. So that's my thing. How do I build generational wealth? It's by pooling, coming together, working together.
Mm. That's powerful. Miss Irene, do you have anything to add to what she said?
I think Miss Colleen said it all. Pulling resources together. You may not be able to do it by yourself, but you can get your sister or your girlfriends or your boys together and do something together. At the end of the day, it's better to share
Hmm.
100% amongst five people than not have 20% at all. So, you know, pulling resources together, I think, is something that we are not great at in our community, but highly important to um, get ahead sometimes. You have to come together, try and do it together. There will come that time where you can do it on your own, but not doing it at all and just sitting back and waiting is not the right plan.
Yeah.
That's so true because we see that a lot amongst other cultures, other ethnicities, and that has always helped them grow as a community. They look out for each other, and I love the fact that you added the importance of having the proper documentation
Right.
when you go into partnership and you pull resources together. Make sure you have the proper documentation to protect one another, essentially, which is very important. If we can do that and we trust in one another, I believe we'll gain more grounds.
Yeah.
Gain more grounds. Yes, we have a few comments in the comment section. Let's just run through them. Emanuela Quashe says, or because of the current economic state of the US, many articles and sources have stated that it will be very difficult for Gen Z and millennials to afford to purchase homes in the coming years. That is true. Can you ladies speak to that, please? Oh, and she has a follow-up question. Can you please share your thoughts on this conclusion? What should we do and how can we plan to be able to buy a home? This is the Gen Z voice now. Please. Eh, I'd love for Miss Irene, if you go first, please.
Okay. This is what I'll say, right? Even in the recession, people made money.
Mm,
So don't focus too much on the negative news. It's caution for you to plan. It is not to scare you.
mm,
And I think a lot of times we hear things like, oh, the recession is coming, or it's so hard, it's going to be difficult. But other people are making it. So why not you? That's my mindset.
mhm,
You know, tell me that I can do something and it motivates me to make sure I do it. So I think it's caution for you to start planning. So maybe drink less Starbucks coffee and make it at home so that you can save your money. Nothing against Starbucks, I love them. But there are ways for us to plan. And I think the younger generation, I don't want to say they don't plan, but I feel like the younger generation are very used to comfort. And so instant gratification becomes more important than maybe deny yourself of a few things so that you can afford the better things in the future.
Mhm.
So again, planning is key, is a way of life. Um, Prepare yourself so that you can get that good job. Prepare yourself now that you're in college. Start saving now when you have your summer jobs or what have you. But make a conscious effort to be in that mindset that this is my goal. This is what I want, where I want to be in a few years. And so, how do I get there? It's like I remember when I was much younger, my mom used to say, if you're looking for a job at Kmart, you don't take your application to Walmart. And that always stuck with me. If you want to do something, you it's not going to just happen, right? You have to prepare for it. So I'll say start preparing now. Think about what you want your future to look like and think about the steps that will lead you to that point and start preparing. That's key.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Miss Irene. Which really reminds me of this Bible verse. Everything you just said now reminds me of this Bible verse that says in Book of Proverbs 21, verse 20, the wise store up choice food and olive oil, but fools gulp theirs down.
Mm-hmm.
People, Gen Z, millennials, senior citizen, this is for you. Please let us wise up. Let us save. Let us build intentionally. Let us prepare. Don't wait to the next crisis or we're about to start thinking about buying a property before you start saving. Every tips, every nuggets, all the powerful practical steps that were shared on this live conversation, let's put it into practice. Wise people think beyond today. They think beyond their present, their now. And that is why tonight's conversation matters very much. Thank you so much, ladies. I do want to transition to back to you, Miss Irene, and I'm gonna lead this next question still on the area of thriving, of prospering, of legacy planning. Proverbs 13, verse 22. A good person leaves an inheritance for their children's children. Now, this one here, I do have a question for you, which I want you to speak to. How can our viewers, and I want you to take this from an angle of a woman of faith, a wife, a mother, and an entrepreneur as well. What does legacy mean to you as a person when you think about real estate?
Hmm. I would say first, as a mom, legacy to me, really, both as a mother or a real estate professional, is bigger than just assets or business success, right?
Mm,
It's more of a long term value that I leave for my children, the decisions, the reputation, the sacrifices, the systems, the things that I put in place for the people that will come after me, right? So I would say, as a mother, legacy is that emotional security for my children to carry into adulthood. The standards that they'll learn, hopefully, from watching me, the confidence that they'll gain from seeing the resilience that hopefully I model from every day in real time,
mm,
and probably the opportunities that my work creates for them. They see how hard I work, and because of that, we're able to afford certain things. So hopefully, those are the legacies that I'll say I'll leave as a mother,
mhm,
for my children. They may not remember, the stressful seasons and the pressure, but they will remember how I treat people, um, how I build with integrity, um, whether they felt stable, you know, at home, even when I was going through building something ambitious. Like those are the things, the qualities that I hope that I place in my children so that it can carry them on. I think for me, that is what legacy would mean to me as a mom, for my family. As a broker, I would say it's the reputation that will be attached to my name, right? My hope is that I will help families build through real estate. Um, the systems and things that I put in place would outlive me. Um, but it's not just selling homes, right? It's more of, I would say, building a community, being impactful in my community, helping people in my community um, come to that place of one understanding what real estate is, not just selling and buying houses, but how do I help my people, the people in my community, understand ownership over dependency. Um, the platforms that I create, right, to help people with their personal income, with other things that they would learn to build, hopefully from things that I will make available to them, help them through, make them understand, and also um, letting people know that there is elegance and professionalism and vision all in business. All of those things can coexist in business, right? So I'm hoping that someday my legacy will be that, bringing people to that place of understanding what it means to build wealth for your families, but also more importantly, who the people around you become because of you. I think that's the biggest legacy for me, would be what my children will become when I'm not here someday, and even the generations after them. It's more important than just a bank account. So I think people think legacy is leaving things for your children or your grandchildren, what have you. But I think the values and the systems that we place in them and in our community and how we affect our community in general is more important. I think that's what I'll say legacy is.
Beautifully said.
Thank you.
Mic drop. Yes. Thank you so much, Miss Irene. Ooh, like I said, these ladies, they don't just talk the talk, they practice what they preach.
Yes, we
I
do.
have seen it personally. I have walked it with them. I have seen them grow over the years, start the businesses and maintain them and keep building upon everything. I'm so honored to have you both joining me on today's conversation. But before we close out for today, I do want to throw just a few questions just to throw it out there. Can you tell me just in one word, one thing buyers should stop doing? One thing. It could be a word, it could be a sentence. One thing buyers should stop doing.
I say
Feel
stop,
free. Don't.
stop fooling themselves.
Okay.
If you can't afford something, you just can't afford it. And one of the points I want to point out that I said that say this is when you are approved for a loan, all buyers need to understand that the lender, they look at your gross income and not your net income. So when they're telling you that you're approved for X, you have to be aware that, okay, yes, I'm approved for this, but this is what I truly can afford.
Mm,
So you have to don't feel pressured to buy something that you cannot afford. And that's why what Miss Irene said, planning is so important, especially if you're paying rent now and you're paying, say, 1,500. If that's what you can afford, that's what you can afford. And there's nothing wrong in starting small. There's nothing wrong in it.
thank you.
Don't be top heavy.
Mm. Say it again. Repeat.
Don't be top heavy.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh wow. Miss Irene, do you have anything you'd like to tell our viewers? One thing.
I would, yes, I would say stop looking at houses before you get pre-approved.
Mm,
there's no point in looking at $500,000 houses and you get approved for 200,000 and then you start feeling depressed. Know what you can afford, like Miss Colleen said. It's really important that you get that part down. But most importantly, too, not just being pre-approved, but also what your payments will
Mm,
look like. So just because you're approved for 500 doesn't mean you have to find a house for
exactly.
500. If you can comfortably live on a 300 mortgage, then go for that. Just because you're approved for one thing does not mean you have to spend it all.
Yes.
Well said. Well said. Thank you. Now, on the flip side, what is one thing buyers should start doing?
Start buying.
Well said. Start buying. Okay, Miss Irene.
I would say buyers should pay attention to the market because Miss Colleen
Yes.
said it. If you see 100,000 houses on the market with only 50,000 buyers, that's the time to get in.
Yeah.
It's a buyer's market. You have options to negotiate. If everybody starts buying, that's not the time to buy because
Mm-mm.
your options are limited. And if you guys remember, that's when we had the bidding war when people were buying and paying more
More.
for a house than they really
Yeah.
should be paying for. So I've heard this analogy and I use it all the time. You marry the mortgage and you date the interest rate. So you can buy and you can always refi when the interest rate drops, as opposed to waiting for the interest rate to be really low and everybody comes into the buyer's market. It becomes a seller's market. And then all of a sudden, you're
You're
fighting over one house with five other people and paying more than you really should be paying for that house. So I think it's key. Pay attention to the market. I'll say is what buyers should do. And when no one is buying, that's the time to buy.
Mhm.
So, guys, go buy. Buy,
Yes,
buy, buy. Buy now.
yes.
Unlock
And
in those properties. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead, ma'am.
another thing I would say, you don't have to look in certain areas alone. There's other outer area that, properties are, you can get good properties for better pricing.
Hmm. Hmm.
So it's just, depending on what your goal is and depending on the stage of life that you're at, because we're all at different stages of our lives.
Yes.
So, I mean, I know everybody wants to go to school, everybody wants this, but at the same time, what's the age of my child? Is it the high school you're looking at, or you're looking at the elementary schools? So every stage of your life, you plan accordingly,
Yeah.
and then you can move on, move up.
Hmm.
So that's one of my thing.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, ladies. This has been awesome. Before we wrap up for today, do you have any final thoughts or comments to our audience watching out there? Anyone anyone can go first.
Um, for me, I always say save, um, invest in the right things, invest in things that will appreciate, not depreciate. I always tell my husband that I don't have car eyes, I have house eyes. That's where my eyes. I'm not a car person. Once it's taking me from A to B, I'm good. But I'm a house person. That's where my eyes at, because that's what appreciates.
Mhm.
And also invest in God-made things, not man-made things. The
Yeah.
land is God-made things. Invest in it. Nothing can happen to the land.
Mm.
Even if there's flood, fire, the land is still there. Invest in land.
Mm. Well said. Well said.
That's good advice.
Yes.
Invest the land.
Yes. How
Um,
about you, Miss Irene?
I would say planning is in my core. I would say prepare yourself, because when preparation meets opportunity, it's amazing what can happen, right? So whether it's taking that course, whether it's saving that money, whatever it is you are aspiring to do, prepare yourself and know that the time will come and you will eventually get there.
Yes,
So
yes.
don't be discouraged. The process might be tough. You might have sleepless nights, whatever it is, just keep going. Just don't give up on it. Whatever it is, do not give up on it. But yes, prepare, prepare, prepare. That's key. That's what I'll say.
Amen. 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 Thank you, ladies. Thank you. Thank you. This has been a wonderful, wonderful, powerful conversation. And I hope tonight reminded somebody that wealth is possible.
Yes,
Yes.
it is.
Don't just dream about it, live it. Walk towards it. Not overnight. It's not by perfection, but through wisdom, preparation, planning. We shared a lot of tips on preparation and planning on this conversation. Discipline and a lot of strategies were shared on tonight's conversation as well. Your future can look very different. Your family story can change once you are determined. It's going to take discipline. It's going to take reaching out, going out of your comfort zone to talk. So reach out to the ladies. The information again is on the screen as well as in the description section. Make sure that you reach out and start your own journey today. And remember, real estate is not only about buying property, it can become a tool to build, grow, and thrive for generations to come. Special thanks again to Miss Carlene and Miss Irene for joining us tonight. And thank you for being part of this community. Now, if this conversation blessed you, educated you, or encouraged you in any way, please do well to like this video, subscribe to the Coach Lola Owokoniran YouTube channel, follow us on all social media platforms, Instagram. If you're watching us live, hit that follow button. If you're on TikTok, Facebook, we're also on there. Make sure you follow us and connect with us. And please, as we were discussing, share this with somebody who needs it. Anyone that came to mind while we were talking. Don't slip on this information. Just copy and share. Share, share, share. And don't forget to turn on your notifications so you never miss our weekly Build, Grow, Thrive Monday talks. We're always live here on Mondays at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Every week, it's a different topic, different conversations, different guests. Also, if you're ready to gain clarity around your financial future, wealth building strategy, legacy planning, or the next steps on your wealth journey, I invite you to book a free wealth discovery session with me. The link also is in the description section of this video. Please make sure you take advantage of it and let's help you put things in order for you and your family to help you build that wealth. Wealth is should be part of your vocabulary. It should be part of something that you aspire to build on, not just for you, for generations to come and for everyone around you, for your entire, for people around you. It doesn't have to be just for your immediate family as well. You have to build on it for everyone and anyone who God has led you to be a blessing to. So, key takeaways from today's live: number one, home ownership starts with preparation. Real estate is more than a home, it can become an asset, a strategy for you for wealth building. Number three, wealth requires wisdom and planning and preparation. Number four, ownership can create opportunities for future generations. It outlives you, not just in buying a property, but buy land, buy homes,
Mhm.
buy assets that appreciate for you over time, assets that will add value to your portfolio. And lastly, legacy is intentional. It is intentional. You can't just be dreaming about it. You have to take intentional steps towards them. So please, 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 this week, make sure you check your credit. If you don't know what your credit score is, do that. Review your budget. Start saving intentionally. Learn more about home ownership or real estate investments. Talk with professionals. and think long term. And most importantly, believe that building wealth is possible for you too. Special thanks to our ladies tonight, Miss Carlene, Miss Irene. God bless you both. Thank you so much for taking the time out to join us on today's live. I have been blessed. I have added to my strategies as well. So we're all on this world journey together. And I know God will bless the seeds that you have sown for us tonight. God will bless it and it shall blossom. I pray and I pray that God's blessing will be with you both and your homes and your families. And every seed that you have sown on tonight's live session, taking the time out, blessing us, impacting us with every tips and strategy, God will bless you both back in multiple folds. That is my
Thank
blessing for you.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And
Thank,
thanks for having us. It's
yes.
been a joy to be here. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So I might be calling on you guys one more time. So I'll be in touch because few ideas came to mind while we were talking. The Gen Zs are interested in real estate, so we
Yes.
need to educate them and empower them. We have to prepare the next generation, not just build and it just stops at us. We have to also make sure that that is transferred properly, so they can build on what we as parents are building upon, and it
Yes.
lasts. It
Yes.
Yes.
lasts.
And before I forget,
Mhm.
there are some programs out there for young people who are just getting out of college that
Okay.
don't have 2 years of work experience yet, but do make the income. There are some programs out there. So if there's anyone interested who falls within that category, by all means, reach out.
Awesome. Awesome. Please, I'd love to have that information so I can put it on my platform.
Absolutely.
Yes. I'll share with my community. All right. Thank you, ladies. It's been awesome. I had fun. I hope you had
Thank you
fun
for
too.
having us.
Yes, we did. I did. Thank you so
Awesome.
much.
To our viewers out there, God bless you and we
Thank
appreciate you.
you.
Thank you so much.
Bless you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.